appreciate you having me on. And even coming through that Sunday, you know what I'm saying, with your man. I think that was dope. We got a chance to chop it up in the back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And my kids love your music. Been listening to your music forever, bro. But yeah, man, like, born and raised in Queens, New York. My parents were immigrants from the island of Trinidad. I was the first person in my family born in the U.S. And my mother was the one who led my father to the faith. You know what I'm saying? So I'm being raised in a home with Christian parents, but the urban environment I'm in, it has a pull on me. You know, I'm finding community outside of my crib. I'm finding community in gangs. I'm finding community in the streets. And so although I'm in the house and there is framework for God in the house, I see my parents reading the scriptures. I see them praying. My parents led a ministry in their basement. I think the pull of the urban environment I was in was far stronger than the influence in my house, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just out there in the streets, man. And a lot of people know this story, man. I'm selling crack cocaine at the age of 12, handling guns by the age of 16, 17, get locked up a couple times, short stints, nothing long. And just it got to the point where my parents were just so concerned about the darkness that was in my life. Man, my mother said, look, we got to get you out of New York, you know. And up in North Carolina, when I get out there, I meet a group of New Yorkers that's far more ruthless than I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 20s. These dudes are in their 30s and 40s, and I'm talking about these dudes are killers. You know, they packing guns. They moving weight up and down the East Coast, like far more ruthless than I am. So 10 more years of that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Until I'm at a point in my life where I'm suicidal. I got all the trappings of success on the outside. I got a dope girlfriend, like who ended up being my wife. Got the luxury car, the Q45. Remember back in the days when the Q45 was banging? I know women lives. So like, if I rule the world and everything in it, Christ the limit. I pushed the Q45 and fit. Remember that? Like, sky's the limit. So yeah, so I got the Q45, I got the apartment, all that. But I'm empty on the inside though, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like on the outside, I got the trappings of success, but on the inside, I'm mad empty, bro. And I remember my wife, man, she was my girlfriend at the time, got into this car accident. She survived this car accident. She comes back to the apartment. And she was raised around the things of God. And she had been converted to Christ, but had no discipleship. And my relationship with her pulled her far away from God. She comes home from that car accident, and it's like faith is restored back to her. She goes in the room, she puts on gospel music, she lifts her hands, she starts worshiping. That's the first time I've heard gospel music, bro. And I'm watching her lift her hands, and she's praising God. And I'm empty on the inside. I'm thinking to myself, like, whatever that is right there, man, I want that, B. So I crawl into a bathroom on my hands and knees, and I start yelling at God. Like, to me, he was just a name in a book, not knowing that he existed. And God, he met me in that bathroom in a real and powerful way, bro. I would say I was converted in that bathroom, and what was like tears of frustration and emptiness turned into tears of joy. And I knew something had happened to me, because I remember that night I went out and I tried to have sex with my girlfriend at night, and for the first time I felt bad about my sin. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh snap, this don't feel good. For the first time, I had an awareness of sin. Started sleeping on the couch, man, and that's how my journey started. And I was walking with the Lord for about 2 years, 3 years, and then fell into a dark season, fell into sin. I hurt a lot of people in this season of my life. I hurt my family, I hurt a lot of people. And I thought God was done with me in the ministry, bro. I thought God was finished with me. You know, I'm like 2.5 years into the faith. And I'll never forget, I said to myself, I said, well, I thought I was going to have a perfect walk. You know, I sinned against God. I hurt people. I caused trouble where I was at. And I said this, I said, you know what? And this is important because I never told the story. I said, I guess that's it then. I guess my walk with the Lord and me doing ministries 2.5 years, it was good while it lasted. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm too much of an urban dude. I'm too broken on the inside. I got too much problems for the Lord to use somebody like me. So my mind, Craig, I'm like, yo, I make the judgment call for God to say I'm not usable. I'm done. And I'm just in a dark place, bro. This is the first time I've ever told a story on any platform. Like, I'm in a dark place for like 2.5 years. Word.
This is North Carolina?
This was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And then I was sent to Ohio. My wife and I were sent to Ohio to Bible college. And I'm in a dark place in my life for 2.5 years. I remember at the end of my time in Bible college, somebody came to me and it was like, yo, brother Phillip, that's what he just called me. Can you preach chapel for us? I'm like, yeah, let me pray about that. And I prayed and I felt like, yeah, I'll do this. And I remember, man, fasting and praying and preaching that chapel. And the power of God fell in that chapel. Kids in Bible college who was not saved gave their life to Christ in that moment. It was like an outpouring of God's presence. And it was like I knew from that moment God was saying to me, I did not take my hand off of you.
Yeah.
And I said this part from the pulpit. I felt like from that day forward, what God gave me was like a second chance, right? And this is important. I felt like God gave me a second chance in life, in ministry, a second chance with family, friends, marriage. And I made a commitment to myself that however long I'm going to live, how much breath I got in my lungs, I'm going to give God my everything in my second chance. So when people see me being aggressive, or they think I'm too radical, or they think I'm too fiery, or they think I'm too over the top, what they don't see is they have not seen my pain. They have not seen that dark season I was in. They have not seen the grace of God that pulled me out that dark season. They have not seen what mercy looks like in my life. So me knowing what God pulled me out of, I mean, knowing they gave me a second chance, bro, like, that's why I'm so radical. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, and this is just like, just keep it in 100. Like, you know, like some people, they talk about success. Success for people is different things. It could be, you know, socioeconomic status. It could be getting to a certain bag. It could be getting to a certain career, climbing the corporate ladder. That used to be me, bro. For me, success, and now I'm keeping it 100. For me, success is what Paul wrote to Timothy before he was executed. If I could say at the end, Craig, if I could say, I fought the good fight. I finished my race. I kept the faith. And now there is a crown that's laid up for me in heaven. I feel like if I can say that, bro, I feel like that is success for me. Because a lot of people start well, but they don't finish well. You know what I'm saying? I want to finish. So for me, what people see in me is me living out what I call a second chance. And I want to make good with that second chance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's actually interesting.